You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Good morning. Welcome to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, Calvin Butenoff, coming to you live from our home at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us. Call or text. The number is the same at 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up on this show, Matt Randolph, also known as Mr. Global. Mondays with Mr. Global. He is going to be back after the 9:30 news. Donald Trump, of course, promised that energy prices would be cut by half.
Cut in half.
Cut in half?
Cut in half.
Everything is going to be great.
Everything's wonderful.
Because energy is going to be so cheap.
They'll be giving gas away to people. Like, here's your free gas. It's so cheap. Here's your free energy. It's so cheap.
That doesn't seem to be the case right now. And drill, baby, drill, and all of that. And coal is back, and everything is dandy. Maybe not so much. We're going to talk to Matt Randolph, who does actually own a gas company.
Mm-hmm.
He lives in Oklahoma.
He's been in oil and gas for over 30 years. He is a certified oil and gas expert. Not just a guy who says, I know a lot. It's a process you have to go through to get certified by it's a thing.
It's a thing.
He knows his stuff, and his YouTube page is going to be linked in the show notes, so you can see all the videos he posts about all the people out there who think they know about gas and oil, and he just
it's so wonderful.
Politely,
he is very polite.
Sets them straight.
Yeah. In hour number 2, right after the 10 o'clock news, I want to talk about Scott Bessent, who is all over the talk shows yesterday. He, of course, is the head of the Treasury, and he's also just a lowly soybean farmer. Greg, did you know that?
He's a farm boy.
Just a regular guy. He feels soybean farmers' pain.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Kicking off hour number 2, we're going to talk about SNAP benefits coming to an end. I've seen a lot of people on social media over the weekend who are just delighted. Delighted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
lazy moochers.
Lazy moochers.
Lazy moochers.
Seen some racist and racial language being used
some
in their celebration. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
we'll talk about that after 10 o'clock. Last half an hour of the show, as we always do, we will lighten it up with a segment we call Audio Sorbet, where we get away from the news, talk about lighter, sillier things, just so we can all breathe for a moment.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about going retro. Retro.
For some.
For some.
What for some seems retro, and for others seems like, well,
yesterday.
It's been my house for 30 years.
So things that are back.
Yeah.
Things are back that were once gone.
I never thought would be coming back.
Seriously. So we'll talk about that after 10:30. And then we'll wrap up the show as we always do with This Shouldn't Be a Thing. We're doing a Halloween-themed week.
Yeah.
For the Tisbets. Today it is the Itsy Bitsy Spiders edition.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned for that. Wanted to start off with this, though, and this broke on Friday, I think, because we didn't have a chance to talk about it before. Yeah. Elected officials object as FEMA denies Wisconsin flood disaster aid. State and local governments objecting Friday to the Trump administration's decision denying additional disaster help for infrastructure in Door, Grant, Milwaukee, Ozaukee, Washington, and Waukesha counties. After the flooding in August, over 1,800 homes were damaged or destroyed. An estimated $34 million in damage to public infrastructure. Roads and bridges, from David Crawley, Milwaukee County Executive, roads and bridges that our residents rely on sustained substantial damage. Public buildings and facilities not only washed away, but in some cases with significant mold. Our parks and our trails were damaged for the short term as well as the long term, and the list goes on and on. So we did get some aid from FEMA, but as far as helping with these infrastructure things, FEMA's like, no. You don't need it.
No, this is a new avenue for America. Usually when things and this was unheard of for southeastern Wisconsin. This kind of rainfall,
this kind of
flooding.
flood.
I, in my lifetime, have never seen anything this destructive. And in any other time, a year ago, if this would have happened, even in the midst of what was an election, we were days away from an election a year ago, President Biden would have made sure we were covered. All presidents before would make sure that these states were covered. That's just what you do. There's the money there to help. And now we're being denied. Other states are being denied. This is where we live now.
A lot of blue states are being denied.
I think, honestly, I want to look that up, too.
All right,
because,
double check that.
But this doesn't help anything or anyone. It's pushed on the narrative of states got to step up.
Well, and that is what Trump said, even leading up to the election, that states need to handle more of this themselves.
Yeah.
Stop coming to the federal government for help when there's a natural disaster. That's not our job. That's what they said.
I kind of think that the states put, our tax dollars go into that, and it's an investment in a program that doles out money for the places that need it. It's like it's not like you created the money. It's not new money that came out of nowhere. This is money that's paid by the taxpayers, by the states, and it's supposed to be in a pot ready for usage when it's needed. And now you're saying we can't help you. Bunk.
In a letter to Governor Evers, FEMA said while the impact to individuals and households was significant, based on early damage assessments, quote, it has been determined that the public assistance program is not warranted, unquote. Evers responding, denying federal assistance doesn't just delay recovery. It sends a message to our communities they're on their own. Mm-hmm. The Trump administration doesn't think over $26 million in damages to infrastructure is worthy of their help. I couldn't disagree more.
Wisconsin, Maryland, Vermont, Washington, Michigan, and Arkansas, all states that were denied FEMA money.
Arkansas is the outlier there.
Well, so is Michigan. Michigan and us. We all voted for him.
That's true.
Is that like Michigan?
But he doesn't like Governor Evers.
He doesn't like, and I guess I'm not sure whether he likes Gretchen Whitmer or not. I'm not sure where they fall on the scale. But Wisconsin, Arkansas, Michigan, all voted for him, and we got denied. And again, it's this thing of pull yourself up by your bootstraps. The government can't be here to help you every. Well,
right.
We're not asking for $10 billion. We're asking for a nominal amount of money that works with what has happened and what needs to be done to fix these. And this is the money that we have put in as a state. So I guess you could call it, please excuse the pun, but literally a rainy day fund. We're not asking for an exorbitant amount of money. This is
$26 million isn't that much.
And I know two people who were denied FEMA funds, period. Like the stuff we did get, they were denied flat out.
Senator Tammy Baldwin said that no community can pick up these pieces alone. Wisconsinites need support so they can rebuild. I hope my Republican colleagues will join me in calling on the Trump administration to step up to the plate and be here for Wisconsin communities left in the lurch. Oh, come on. Wisconsin Republicans would never criticize the Trump administration over anything.
No.
Even if their own constituents are the ones who get hurt.
And I'm sorry, but I'm getting tired of Democratic lawmakers using that line. I'm hoping that our Republicans ... They're not going to help. They're not going to and I hate saying that, but they have no incentive to do so. In fact, they have everything to say don't do it, because if they do something which smacks of indifference and or criticism of the Trump administration, they're going to be in trouble as well.
They'll pay for it.
And I will say this, $123 million, that's not a lot for the federal government. And we do have $4 billion in surplus money that we could dole out as well. But hold on, I just got a call from Robin Voss. He said, oh, he's laughing.
Oh, is he laughing?
And he hung up on me. Yeah. So
yeah.
Actually, Wisconsin could cover it, but we won't, because Madison hates spending money on anything, especially its people, unless it's a tax break. Unless it's a tax break or a tax refund. A check in the mail.
That is it. That is it in the Republican playbook, are tax cuts.
Yep.
For rich people.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
myvote.wi.gov. Call your state representatives right now and tell them, and I don't care if you don't live in the Milwaukee, southeastern Wisconsin area, tell them that they need to get on board with pushing the administration to fund this
recovery.
Aid, because this has effects on Wisconsin, because the Northwoods might be the next thing that gets a heavy snowfall. Maybe it's
could be rainfall.
Maybe it's Green Bay that gets. I don't know. I'm not saying I want any of those things, but what I'm saying is that when one area suffers, we can all suffer, because they will deny it for everyone. And it doesn't matter if your region voted for him, because this whole state went for Donald Trump and we still got denied. So call them, myvote.wi.gov. Look up your representatives. Tell them that we need to get FEMA money, because that is what we pay into.
And tell our Republican friends in the House that they should end the government shutdown and bring back Democrats to negotiate over health care, because that's what this shutdown is about.
Yeah.
It's about health care.
Yeah.
By the way, Representative Kaylin Haywood, Democrat from Milwaukee, talking about FEMA not giving Wisconsin all the money that it asked for after the August floods, pointed out that SNAP is on the verge of drying up. And we're going to get to that next hour. Communities, meanwhile, left to rebuild infrastructure on their own. It's disappointing. The White House is choosing a $300 million ballroom ego project over the well-being of the people in Wisconsin. Now, granted, the big billionaire ballroom is allegedly being funded through donors.
Well, it was also,
and the price keeps going up, by the way. Did you notice that?
Jane, I was going to say the price was originally $200 million.
Now it's up to $300 million.
It's going to be $500 million, if not more. And I will continue saying this from the top of the mountain. And please feel free to use these words as well. As long as the people who are, quote unquote, donating to the ballroom fund are doing that, those are millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires. Those are people who enjoy the tax breaks of the wealthy class. They are getting tax money back or not having to pay it. Therefore, in my opinion, I'm paying them because they're getting my money that I put in the system. Therefore, I am paying for this no matter what, because they are utilizing their tax breaks to give big donations, and it's all a slush fund, in my opinion. We're just being turned into one big slush fund for the billionaires in this country.
Pretty much.
And you're paying into it. And guess what? If you voted for Donald Trump, you're still paying for it too. You're just as on the hook as we are. It doesn't matter the color of your flag. It doesn't matter the region of your country. It matters only one thing. Are you rich enough to get an appointment with him? No, then you don't matter.
And that really is what the fight is.
Yeah.
As much as they would like us to be fighting each other.
Yes. And we are. And they're doing a great job of fostering that.
And we are. No, it's about the ultra wealthy and the rest of us. Pretty much. By the way, Carol from Waukesha texting in, listening on WAUK, says, don't forget about the $40 billion for Argentina and nothing for Wisconsin.
Which a month ago was $20 billion.
Yeah, now it's $40 billion.
Now it's $40 billion. And by the way, $300 million for a ballroom, $40 billion but no money for health.
$172 million for Kristi Noem's planes.
The statue, the Garden of Heroes.
The Garden of Heroes.
But absolutely no money for health care, no money for SNAP, no money for Medicare, Medicaid, nothing like that. It's all got to be cut because we're going broke, folks.
But the Trump administration has their eye on the important things.
Absolutely.
Trump's ego projects. Stay with us. You are listening to Matt Nair on Air, coming to across the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Good morning. Welcome back to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, Dr. Slide on the board. Coming to you from our home at Radio Park in Racine. Join us, call or text at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream. Good morning, live stream.
Hello.
On Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Coming up later on today, the Todd Alba Show from 2 to 4 p.m. He will kick off the show, recapping the weekend headlines, talk a little bit about that. We beat our ex-boyfriend. We beat our ex-boyfriend.
Only you call him our ex-boyfriend.
Oh, I am not the only one who calls Aaron Rodgers. I am not the only one who calls him our ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
Maybe I am.
Yeah, there you are.
I don't care.
Okay.
Yes, so join Todd, talk a little bit about our win over Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. I am also joining Todd now on Mondays.
Nice.
At 2:30. So we'll kick things around and we literally just chat.
That's great.
About stuff. About really important things.
Yeah.
So I'll be on with Todd today at 2:30. In the 3 o'clock hour, Another edition of What's Worse. Today they're talking Wisconsin meats.
Okay.
That should be interesting.
All right. I'm going to be listening to that one.
So join Todd this afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. across our fabulous network. This is from the Wisconsin Examiner. Henry Redmond has the byline. Gableman could be on the hook for $48,000 to cover costs for investigating him. Former Wisconsin Supreme Court Justice Michael Gableman could be forced to pay over $48,000 to cover the cost of the state Office of Lawyer Regulations investigation into him for his behavior during the search for cheaters in the 2020 presidential election, which brought up Zippo. Nothing. Zero. Our $2 million investment in Michael Gableman found no proof.
Yeah.
No evidence of voter fraud.
And you don't have to go any further for that information than Robin Voss, who admitted that there was nothing found.
He did.
Yeah, he did. He even admitted that. So,
yeah. So here is my question. Should Michael Gableman pay up $48,000 for these costs? 855-752-4842. Should Michael Gableman pay as part of the review? It resulted in 10 counts of misconduct being filed against Gableman. Late last month, he did agree to have his law license suspended for 3 years because of those charges.
Yeah. That's a huge feat, too. Getting a law license suspended takes a lot more work than people think.
It does.
It does. It takes a lot of work. And honestly, Jane, I'm going to open up my Civic Media app right now. I'm going to call the show and tell you what I think. Oh, yeah, he should have to pay up. Period and done. Get the Civic Media app. It's free.
855-752-4842. Should Michael Gableman, who spent $2 million worth of our money looking for fraud in the 2020 election, none of which was found, should he have to pay $48,000? 855-752-4842. I would agree with your call there, Greg Bach.
Yeah.
Yes, I think he should have to pay for it.
I think that, honestly, well, no, I don't think he should have to. Robin Voss put forth the money. I just feel like $2 million
of our money
wasted on this. And also employing the services of a man who was wildly underqualified to investigate this in the first place. Let's just start there. But also the fact that nothing was found and we're still $2 million on the hook for it. And then he should be paying this entire thing.
Yeah.
Michael Gableman should be paying that $48,000
yes.
back. And it's funny to me that he's still how many years, 3-4 years after the fact, still in the headlines on this.
Yeah. Well, again, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And I'm sure Michael Gableman and even Robin Voss would love for us never to talk about this again. Because it's got to be kind of embarrassing.
Well, I don't think.
Well, that's wrong.
No, Robin Voss doesn't feel
no
embarrassment.
No one feels embarrassment anymore or shame. Yeah, there's none of that.
If you bring it up, he will simply just divert the topic to something else and blame Democrats. That's what they do now. Anytime you try to hold Republicans responsible or show accountability, it's always how it's somebody else. It's not even Democrats sometimes. It's just always someone else's fault. And that's one of the things that really infuriates me, because I was always raised to believe that Republicans were the party of personal responsibility.
Yeah, that kind of went away 10 years ago.
And that is laughably gone now.
855-752-4842. Richard, you get the last word before we go to the bottom of the hour news. What do you want to say real quickly, please?
I think he should be punished more because this is a manufactured thing he did. He should have known way better with his experience and time in law. It's really outrageous.
Appreciate it, Richard. Thank you. I agree. I think he should have to pay up.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jack from Merrimack, listening to WAUK, says, but it's much more important to give trillions in tax welfare to, quote, job creators and hundreds of millions to Trump himself because the DOJ actually showed criminality, or a few $100 million to the Imperial Epstein Ballroom, needs the gold trim, or $1 billion to make Argentina great. I mean, yeah, it's this is all about like all the way, any way they can get money. I mean, $2 million, does it take $2 million to make that kind of investigation? I don't want to throw conspiracies, and I'm not trying to right here, but Where did all that $2 million go?
Well, and I think there's a whole bunch of stuff within there that I would love to know more details about. Some of the things that were coming out while that investigation was going on. I mean, they didn't even keep ledgers.
Mm-hmm.
The Gableman investigation, it was a mess.
No, they don't.
It was a mess
because they are once again wildly underqualified to do any of these things. You want another piece of proof? Look at who is trying to prosecute Letitia James in D.C., a woman who has never, ever been in court.
DEI hire. News is coming up next. Stay close. You are listening to Matt Nair on Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. Stay with us. Good morning. Welcome to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, the board lord, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. You can always join us, call or text. The number is the same at 855-752-4842. You can also leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. He is an oil and gas industry expert, which is something you have to earn. It is Mondays with Mr. Global. Matt Randolph is here. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
We're good, Matt. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Let's start off the top with gas prices. Gas prices, according to the president, are down. Everything is down. Gas prices are down. Life is good, Matt. I filled up yesterday. They're not down.
I know, right?
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
I did research yesterday. I went to the gas station yesterday and I filled up and I paid cash. And it was still...
What's cash?
It was still like 30 cents higher than it was last week. Yeah. Now, I know there was a fire at a refinery in Indiana, correct?
Yes.
And so that is having an impact, probably especially here in the Midwest.
Definitely the upper Midwest, yeah. But, gas prices are not really lower anywhere else in the country either. They're about the same as they were last year this time.
Yeah.
I believe they're 305 or 6 a gallon today on a national average from AAA. That's who I use. And if you would have asked me a year ago, what are gas prices going to be in a year, I would have told you 305, 306 right now. It's everything that's happening has been predicted by all of us before the election, regardless of who the president was. So.
Well, and it's important to remind folks as well, because I want to say maybe a month and a half ago, prices did start coming down, but that happens every year, right? As we get away from the summer blend, we get away from the summer blend and we go back to regular gas blend.
Yeah, we swapped over to winter blend, and prices fall as they do every year. That's why people think. Prices fall right before an election.
Right. But it's not.
Because every time there's an election, we swap to winter blend literally 45, 60 days before, and everyone thinks the elections are rigged with gas prices, but it's like
they are completely unrelated. There is no relation whatsoever. Prices tend to go up in spring as we switch over to that spring blend, and then they tend to come down in fall as we go back to the regular blend. This has happened year after year after year after year, and people still use that as the indicator of where the economy is, and it's just not a good bellwether.
Right. No, it's not. So, yeah.
Well, the president promised us, Matt, that when he got into office, we were going to drill, baby, drill, and everything was going to be dandy. We have a cut from Doug Burgum, the Secretary of the Interior. Calvin, can we play that clip from Mr. Burgum, please, on Fox?
Critical minerals. China today controls 85 to 100% of all the refining on the 20 most important rare earth minerals that are essential for defense, essential for automotive, essential for high tech in our country. They have a stranglehold on that marketplace. We have to break it. President Trump knows that, and we have to get back to mining in our country. It's not just drill, baby, drill. It's mine, baby, mine with President Trump and critical minerals.
I mean, he is definitely mine, baby, mine, because it's all his.
Yeah, pretty much. How is that going, Matt? From your vantage point,
drill, baby, drill,
and mine, baby, mine.
Oh, neither are really going anywhere.
What happened to
Not a
drill?
thing.
What happened to drill, baby, drill? Prices were to be down. Energy prices were to be down by 50%.
Yeah, well, shockingly, companies don't produce when prices are low. It's a big surprise to everyone, but it's true. It's absolutely true.
Well, we've talked about this many times before that when oil per barrel starts to fall and it gets to around $60 a barrel, that's when oil producers stop making money. So they are less inclined to invest more money to do more drilling when they're not making money, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And, he went to OPEC and got his oil there and, typical Donald Trump stuff. So,
yeah. If you're just joining us, we're talking to Matt Randolph, who is also known as Mr. Global. You can find him on YouTube, where you put out so many videos now. I follow you, and
content.
You are always in my feed, and I'll have that link in the show notes for today. I mean, the question I have for you, I mean, Jane, you asked it perfectly, is that, like, people want gas to be cheap. Therefore, they want, if they see barrels of oil prices going down, they think, oh, that's wonderful. But that isn't good for our economy. It's not good for those companies. It's not good for us, period. So to see gas that's like $1.99 or less, that doesn't do the long-term good that we believe, because we're always told cheaper is better. And when politicians say we're going to lower the gas prices, which none of them can do, nobody knows actually the knock-on effect. Matt, can you talk about that? Like, you just said that when the barrel prices go down, they're less inclined to produce. But what then how does that affect us as consumers then too?
Well, saving 10 cents a gallon on gas seems like a really great thing for a lot of people. I don't know why it's like $1.50 on a fill up, but what you are spending, what you're really spending is, so far under this administration, we've lost somewhere around 25,000 oil and gas jobs. And all of those, keep in mind, all of those are like 6-figure jobs.
These are good jobs.
Really high paying jobs that don't require college educations, right? So this is access to blue collar, middle class workers to make really good money. It's one of the few places left where someone without a college degree can come in and blue collar job and make a really good living for their family. And we're losing those jobs left and right. It hurts manufacturing, it hurts the steel industry, and it's a big hit to our tax revenue in the United States. So it's a massive ripple effect. For every oil and gas job created in the United States, I don't remember the exact number, don't quote me on this, but I think it's like 2.8 other jobs are created, as ancillary jobs.
Sure.
So it is huge. And for me, I just don't think it's worth that $1.50 a tank that people get so excited about, especially when you're spending, an extra $1,000 a month on the other things you need to live, like food and electricity.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about electricity, because that was the other big promise. Well, among the many promises that Donald Trump made, that electricity prices were going to be down 50% and it's going to be great. And that is not what's happening around the country either. People's electric bills are not going down.
No, I told people a couple of years ago that pretty soon their electric bills will be as high as their mortgage payments. And they told me I was crazy, but we started seeing that a lot this summer. I think we're going to see it. And of course, a lot of it's weather related. If we have a winter this year, like we had last year, if we have a cold winter, we're going to see it a lot more this winter. Electricity prices are going through the roof due to, grid capacity. And we have an administration that wants to pick your source of power for you instead of just understanding that we just need electricity regardless of where it's sourced. We just need more of it. It's not, electricity prices have been coming up for a long time, and everything the Trump administration is doing is only going to make that significantly worse.
Well, and he's trying to sell killing off, windmills and solar arrays and stuff like that. He's trying to sell that as a way to bring down our energy prices when actually it's doing the opposite. As you said, you're in the oil and gas industry, but you have always been open to all forms of electricity generation.
Well, yeah, the oil and gas industry is the energy industry. And that's all kinds of energy, whether it's, oil and gas, fossil fuels, nuclear, renewable, it doesn't matter. If you're passionate about working in the oil and gas industry because you're providing energy for people, then you should be passionate about energy in general, no matter what kind it is. That's the way I look at it. But obviously that's not true with everybody. But yeah, he's doing he's going to make things significantly worse by destroying renewable projects and expanding our LNG export capacity by as much as possible. Those two things are going to be the third and fourth whammy, I would say, for electricity prices for Americans.
Well, and you were talking about the grid and problems with the grid, and this is something that we've talked about in Wisconsin because there are several data centers now which want to come here. One was rejected in one community. One was accepted in a different community. But those two are going to be, those are massive energy sucks, those data centers. Massive.
Yeah, a typical data center uses as much power as 80,000 homes. And, as with everything else that we build in this country, as time goes by, we build it bigger and bigger and bigger. And that means in 5 years from now, a data center will probably use as much power as 250,000 homes. That's how it is in this country. It's always bigger and bigger. And in addition to that, there's never been a good plan or policy to really improve and expand and upgrade the grid. The Biden administration tried with the Infrastructure Act, and I think the problem there was the grid is the least profitable thing. It takes the most investment, and it's the longest return on investment. So when you're focusing on the grid, you have to have a different plan than everything else, right? You can give the subsidies and tax credits for renewable energy, but you have to go a different route with the grid. You have to be much more aggressive. You have to push a lot harder because people, if they can choose 5 different things to put their money in, it's not going to be the grid.
Yeah.
It's never going to be the grid, right? And so that was sort of a failure there, not recognizing how hard it is to get people to invest in the grid. And Donald Trump is doing nothing. Like he's completely reversed what the Biden administration was doing, which was helping a little bit, but not enough.
If you're just joining us, Matt Randolph is here, otherwise known as Mr. Global on Matt Nair on Air. Jack from Merrimack has been waiting very patiently. Jack, we'll take you right now before we go to the break. What did you want to say? Boy, Jack, you're going to have to call back.
Jack,
we have a real bad line.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry about that, Jack. If you want to try again, 855-752-4842. That's 855-75-CIVIC.
And one of the things I want to ask you when we come back from the other side is those jobs you were just talking about, all of those is something that even the Republicans aren't saying, because I could see them pushing a narrative. We're losing all these jobs because the Democrats are because of this, that, and the other thing. But nobody is talking about these blue collar jobs, these good paying jobs. And I would like to know more about that because that seems like that could definitely be a talking point from both sides of the aisle, but we're not discussing that at all while we're seeing tens of thousands of people losing their jobs. We'll talk about that when we come back.
We're talking to Mr. Global, Matt Randolph. Stay with us. You're listening to Matt Nair on Air, coming to you across the vast, statewide, countrywide. You can pick us up around the world on this Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Good morning. Welcome back to Matt Nair on Air. Jane Matt Nair, Greg Bach, Sweet Calby on the board, coming to you from our studio at Radio Park in Racine. Join us at 855-752-4842. Leave a comment if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and what used to be Twitter. Mr. Global Matt Randolph is here, oil and gas industry expert, talking about all things energy. Jack from Merrimack did call back in, and he's been very patient. Good morning, Jack. Thanks for joining us. What do you want to say?
Good morning. Well, first of all, I'm helping with the electric grid. I just put solar panels on my house. So that'll help somewhat anyway.
Good for you.
But now I hope Mr. Randolph will forgive me for this, but there is a way to stabilize or at least reduce the cost of electric production, in my opinion, and that's to only allow American-produced electric production for new electric plants. In other words, just only approve renewable sources, solar panels, wind farms, hydropower. That energy is not going to be shipped out of the country because it's really hard to take a solar array and use it for somebody else's electric production. And it's not dependent on international markets. It's not dependent on the whims of guys like Ben Salman and Putin who want to jack up the prices of petroleum products. And that should at least keep the prices from going fluctuating as wildly as they have been.
Appreciate it, Jack. Thank you so much, Mr. Global. What do you think about that?
Well, he's not wrong. If we only and so here's the thing. We can dispatch and build and generate renewable electricity faster than any other kind. We can add 80, 90 gigawatts of electricity a year in the United States with just renewable energy. We can't do that with anything else. So it's very fast. The one issue is when you add renewable energy, you have to upgrade the grid a little bit because it's a different type of flow of electricity. It is intermittent. That doesn't mean it can't be used. It just means you have to make changes to your grid a little bit to handle that. But he's not wrong. Like he's really not wrong at all. It's just not a thing I think will happen.
Well, right. Certainly
anytime
not
in
now.
the near future.
Yeah, certainly not now.
And that may not apply everywhere in the country. There's probably places where some other type of energy would work better, but he's not missing the mark on that. It's simply something that's not going to happen. We don't always do what's best.
No, we don't. I know that's shocking. Yes, that's shocking.
You always say the funniest things,
We only
Matt.
have a couple of minutes left, and I really want to get to it. This is from Wyoming Public Radio. Congress gave a break to coal producers. Now Wyoming is concerned it's going to carry the loss. So the Trump administration gave a break to the coal industry, but what they did was lower fees for mining on public lands. That money helps fund things in Wyoming. So they've lowered the fees for these mining companies, but now the state is struggling to pay infrastructure and all that stuff because they depended on those fees. That's not working out so well, is it?
Not only is it not working out, I don't know if you know about this, but in Montana, in the Powder River Basin, the BLM just tried. Oh, I lost my camera.
There we go.
The BLM just had a lease sale for coal, right? They got one bid, $186,000 bid for 167 million tons of coal. So to put that in perspective, the Navajo Energy Authority bid less than a penny per ton of coal. That is over 100 times less than the last lease sale they had. Basically, coal companies aren't willing to pay anything for more coal on public land, even with these new incentives that the government has put out. I thought that was a fascinating story when I read that.
Why are they? And is it just because they don't feel it's worth the investment?
Well, they have an enormous amount of coal, probably more coal than they're going to need to get them to the end of coal. Coal is plentiful in the United States, and they're just not willing to spend any money on more coal because they see the end of coal coming. But look, I would pay $186,000 for 167 million tons of coal. I would do that every day.
Seems like a pretty good deal.
Like a half a penny a ton or whatever that works out to but it really shows you even how coal companies are viewing coal themselves. They're not willing to buy more coal, even with the new incentives from the federal government. So it's anything the federal government is any incentives they're giving these companies is there's absolutely no return on investment.
Right.
And like you said, it's going to cost these states a fortune.
As they are finding out in Wyoming that we're struggling now. It's they got all of these millions of dollars from these coal companies leasing on public lands, and now they don't have to pay that anymore, and now they're struggling with money. It's called consequences, and looking long term down the road, and what could happen if I do A, and then B might happen, and then C might happen, and then D might happen.
Well, and they're also in a place now where their state legislature and their governor and no one can criticize the Trump administration, because if they do, they'll get in trouble and probably have things cut from their budget, aid withheld. There's consequences. There are consequences there, but.
Follow him on YouTube, Mr. Global, Matt Randolph. Thank you so very much for your time. It's always a pleasure, Matt. Really appreciate it. We have news coming up next. Stay with us. You are listening to Matt and Air on Air. This is the Civic Media Radio Network. We'll be right back.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.